Hi everyone, this is Raza Sheikh and welcome to AI Search, a platform committed to make you win with your data. Agenda for today is self-governed data wrangling, build your own big data pipelines. Going through the AI Search brief, in the components of data wrangling, we're going to discuss about the different scenarios and we're going to be demonstrating those different scenarios as part of this live demo at the end of the session. AI Search allows business to achieve its data value with no technical expert profile whatsoever. AI Search is industry's fastest, most powerful, and end-to-end data analytical platform. Only AI Search can be implemented in a day because we skip complicated old-school steps that everyone else requires you to perform for their data solutions to work. No ETL, no reshaping of data, no data modeling. Means that you're being analyzing the data for your business insights while they are still planning the implementation. You can consider us as a automation as a services, starting with Data Factory, a cloud environment with dedicated compute and storage resources, packed with powerful big data components under the banner of futuristic architecture required to manage your data lifecycle from ingestion to determination, followed with self-governing components allowing non-tech savvy to work on big data stack without even writing a single line of code. And this is only possible with our Dojo, a powerful automation that sits between the user interface and the data factory. We are unified means you don't need two different applications for your data analytics. We bring all the best features of data warehouse on top of your data lake sitting on the object storage. AI Remedies is where you have the value for the business. Using our industry-specific pre-built dashboards, you get your answers for the fastest decision-making possible. So what does it mean for the business? With AI Search, you focus on business and its value simply because we had automated all the technical depths, which otherwise you would handle in the traditional implementation of data analytics. With the powerful automation, you get your data and its value faster ever possible. And because we are unified end-to-end data lakehouse solution, you reduce your total cost awfully. Well, no one need to be told that data is becoming more complex. So let's move ahead to manage it self-sufficiently. AI Search data wrangling is the most powerful component of all. We had automated anything otherwise a business or a data team would be dependent on data or IT engineers. I shall discuss this with the scenario below, but along with data wrangling, we shall discuss and demonstrate the capability of data discovery, allowing you to see and fetch all your artifacts within your data lake, and the orchestration engine that takes all the instructions given as part of no-code connector and data wrangling, converting those all instructions to a schedulable big data pipeline. Well, life is from start to end, raw data to information, beautifully presented in a pack of intuitive dashboard with all the KPIs pre-calculated. Yes, you guessed it right, I'm talking about AI remedies, which I'm going to be talking about in the following recording. But for now, to get your data reported, you need that ready to analytics dataset. And that goes through few challenges, which can be broadly categorized into three. Be it data anomalies, handling your bad data. Be it security, making sure the data is being secure or the data points have been secure. And the standardization of the data to make sure that the data is adhered to your industry standards. This is only when your actual business logic can follow. And the bare fact is these three categories are the most painful and trend to continue as a business grows. But not to be worried, as we have automated this whole process with AI Search, we add a huge value having to build this whole pipeline along with alerts and notification anytime we encountered either of these three categories of your data, be it anomalies, security, or standardization information compromised in any day processed data, we notify that to you. So we have spoken about this to a length. Let me get onto the product and demonstrate this whole capability. I have already inserted a particular data set, which is customer sales transaction. If you hadn't watched my previous video, which is related to no code connector, talks in length about how the no code connector works and its capability. So I would recommend to go ahead and watch that video. Rather, I would highly recommend that you go ahead and watch all the videos, including the data factory, because that is where the core is. We have demonstrated a live demo about how the data factory is spinned up and what all components are getting installed, and how your data big data factory is isolated, so that you make sure that it's not compromising with any kind of securities. Fine. So I'm going to be using the same data set for my data wrangling. The first thing that you see is a join screen. You have the luxury to select that data set. For the demo purpose, I'm going to use just one data set, but you can join as many data sets as possible. The next thing that you see is the power of Dojo, where when the no code connector has been processed, we scan through the DNA of your data set and identify where exactly the issues are. And we have categorized those issues into three, which is data quality, security, and standardization part. With regards to data quality, we have seen that there are issues with your data quality falling in the subcategories of data type anomalies, null anomalies, and noise anomalies. So this particular field, which is string at the moment, it has the data points that are related or characterized as data type. So I think this recommendation is right, so I'm going to go and opt for that recommendation. Second thing is the customer. Basically, there are a lot of null values, so because I'm building a customer 360 data set, I don't want any of the customers to be null, so I'm going to go ahead and straightly reject those values. So when I say reject, it does not mean that I'm losing that data. So behind the scenes, Dojo will go ahead and create a new data set which is called as bad data, and all your rejected data will be stored in that particular bad data. So no data loss whatsoever. Third thing is basically there are a couple of noises in my particular column called product. I don't want to do any actions at this point of time, because I want to demonstrate the manual transformations in context to this particular column. The security, I see that there are a couple of fields that have been identified as secure or sensitive data sets, data points. So in particularly, the payment method is where I'm more concerned about, because I wanted to secure my credit card's detail. So I'm going to go ahead and tokenize this value. So you have the luxury of doing the masking and tokenization. So when you mask the data, the good data itself is masked, so you don't have an option to roll it back, so it is masks. But when you tokenize the value, it is encrypted to the best way possible, and the actual value has been stored in a separate secure table, what we refer to as, and Dojo creates a secure table and stores the actual value and the tokenized value. And that helps greatly when you wanted to integrate your application with any of the third-party payment gateways and so on and so forth. So you can map your tokenized value with the actual value and send the actual value to the payment gateway for the payment processing. Other thing that Dojo has identified is there are a couple of duplicates in my dataset, so I'm going to go and say that okay, fine, I want to remove the duplicates. Once I have done those all instructions, it's a matter of me accepting this agreement and submitting the request. The request has been submitted, and it has been applied to those first 3,000 records. So what we do is, when the no-code connector process for the dataset for the first time, we don't bring in the entire data into the processing slice. So we have the architecture basically have a different slices where we go and get all your data into raw slice, so it is as is data sets. And then from there we basically move into different slice, or you can consider it as zones, where we do all the transformations and logics and so on and so forth. From the raw slice, we bring only 3000 records into query slice, so it becomes easy for your data preparation. So whatever the instructions that you have given to Dojo has been applied, as you can see that the data type has been converted, the tokenization has been done for this security aspect, and the null values has been changed. Other thing that you wanted to do is you wanted to apply some business logic now. The business logic is you don't have any business line that is categorized as ships. So what you want to do is you wanted to go ahead and type a question mark. It lists down all the questions that you can ask to your data set, and you say that, you know what, I want to replace this ship in my business line. So we have powerful recommendation engine running behind the scenes. So you get the easiest way possible to apply your business logic and categorize that into others. And once I've done that, so submit this request, Dojo will go ahead and immediately change your data, and you can see the changes as you move forward. And this is the power of seeing is believing comings to play, where you see the data is changing as you action on it. Once you're convinced with all of these things, you can go ahead and set up your orchestration to run through. Other thing that I want to do with the question is, I don't like this name, so I'm going to go and say Dojo to rename this particular column, which is, what is the column name? It's unnamed. Yeah, that's right. I wanted to name it into serial number or something like that, kind of thingy, or ID, or maybe row number, or whatever the naming convention you want to go with, basically. So that's been done, and you're not restricted with the questions whatsoever. Let's say I wanted to find a character which is the hyphen, underscore, and replace this underscore with space, so it looks good in my reporting. So I go and right click, transformations, replace the character. So I say underscore and replace that with the space. And yeah, that's it. I submitted the request, and the transformation has been applied on the data set. And at any point of time, if you have made a mistake, you have the luxury to go ahead and click on history and see what exactly the actions you have done, and you can roll back to the previous version or any of the versions as you feel so. But I'm happy with the transformation that I've done, and I click next. There are two options that you get when you click next. You can go ahead and schedule the data sets. And when you schedule the data set, this is where you get the different loading strategy options. Like an example, we have currently loading strategy to append the data every time the pipeline runs. You override the data every time the pipeline runs, or apply SCDs. So whether type 1 or type 2 or whatsoever, you can in the matter of clicks you can have the type and type 2 applied on your data set, which I'm going to be demonstrating in a later upcoming video. But for right now, I'll just go run now option. So run now option is good for those data sets which can be categorized as reference data sets or so and so forth, sitting with business, which very often change. And the loading strategy which goes with that is always like overwrite. Fine. So I click next, and what is happening is all the instructions that have been done on the data preparation is been given to Dojo. It's converting those all instructions to Airflow DAG. Yes, we use Airflow behind the scenes, and we have automated those all things to ease off your data preparation. And yeah, what you see is the DAG has been built and it has been placed in the Airflow container, and it should be triggered very quickly. And yeah, you see it is running at the moment. And if you want to check it out what is happening with your DAG, you can click on the logs and you see that the tasks are getting executed. Whilst these tasks are getting executed, I want to jump and demonstrate you about the data catalog. The data catalog is a very friendly component which allows you to fetch any of your data artifacts built for your project, and you can fetch your data artifacts with source system name or with any of the keywords that might match your data set name, or within your description of data sets, or the field names and so on and so forth. But if in case, let's say you don't know that what data set you're looking for, you go ahead and type all and it will list you down all the data sets that are there within your data lake. And it gives you all the details basically about okay, this is a S3 bucket source data set, and it has all these descriptions. When you go into the detail, you have the luxury to edit the description, check out the fields, what are the fields and the data types, and all the information that you can opt for. And there is a lot of things, because data set is core for us. We have built all the automation wrappers surrounding that data sets, and the data sets are built on the concept or the mechanism of delta tables. Fine. And moreover, you can go ahead and click on view data, so you can check it out how your data looks like at this point of time. Yeah, you see that we have done this all transformations on your data sets. You can check out your profiling of the data set, how it looks like with the data as it stands, and you can go ahead and collaborate with your team members. Like an example, I can give any comments, like example, this data set is good for analytics. And yeah, once I submit this request, automatically what happens is Dojo gives you a start rating. We have taken care to the smallest things with the automation. Or let's say some other user basically says it seems to be bad data coming in. Once that has been done, you see there is some kind of negative marking with your data set, so Dojo understands that and it star rates accordingly. Yeah, so you have all the freedom to go ahead and do whatever you feel like with the data catalog. It's a very powerful AI-enabled data catalog. Allow you to fetch all the details within it. Once the Airflow has been ran through, you will see the bad data coming up for the same data set, which is sales transaction, and because we have applied to tokenization, so you will see the tokenizations as well. And on top of this data set, once you build your AI model and AI remedies use cases, those all use cases also will be listed down. Yeah, so I think let's jump onto the monitoring screen. We see that the job is still running. Yeah, it's generating the bad data at the moment, so it's still running. It's been successful as well. So giving a couple of seconds, the pipeline should be all run through with all the 100,000 records being processed successfully. and then you will see, go ahead and check it out with data lineage, how it looks like once the process has been completed. And that's it. Yeah, you you have successfully built your data pipeline on top of that big data technology stack without even writing a single line of code, which is absolutely amazing. Okay, now that the workflow has been successfully completed, you can go ahead and check it out, the data lineage, which is going to be demonstrating the entire capability of what you have done. Example, we have bring 100,000 records, did the data profiling. You can click on this component. You can collaborate with any of your team members on this particular component if there is any comments to be made. Followed to that, we had did data profiling and bought all the 100,000 records in our raw slice. Once that's been done, what happened is Dojo basically actioned. So what kind of action did we do is we basically convert the date into date data type, went with recommendation for all the nulls identified under the country, product, business lines, sales amount, target, and all these different fields. But we have rejected the customer, so that's what it says here. And what are the customers that we have rejected is 4,986 records that we have rejected. So these are the records that are dropped. So you don't find these number of records in your good delta table. When I click on the bad delta table, which is automatically being created by Dojo, I can see that the total number of records that I have is 27,532 records. But the number of data that is records that has been rejected is 4,986 records. So these are the customer null value records that have been rejected. Rest all the records basically are recommendation. So what we do with the recommendation is we replace the value in the good data table. So we make that particular record, recommended record or custom record, available in the good delta table, but the bad record that we receive from the source is still made available in the bad data table. Along with that, I have Dojo has built a separate delta table which is for the secure data, and it has tokenized the data for the method. And then what I've done is I've applied find and replace on the business value where ships has been replaced with others kind of thingy. Then I have done a couple of other transformations like renaming unnamed column to a serial number or so. And then I've did the manual transformation, which is replacing underscore with a space. And finally what I've done is I've run the schedule. So build the DAG, and I did not do anything. I just went ahead and with the override strategy, I've run it for once. Once that has been done, the final good delta table is been made available for you with all the good data in it, with number of records being 95,014 records, because 4,986 records are been dropped because of customer being null. So this is the power of AI search. It gives you entire detail about your data set and whatever the actions you have done with the collaboration. Once I go back to the data catalog, you see that this is where the health score starts coming up into play. Now what is this health score is where it will every day, if your data set has been scheduled to run, every day it will identify if any kind of anomalies or data noises or anything, sensitive data, anything has been identified or not. If it is so, it will give you that information. So here it is giving me the health score and saying that the noise, which is very critical to be handled, is been identified. So the product basically has a couple of noise within it. So you can go ahead and click on whatever you want to do. You want to say that, okay, remove the noise, save this information. Once this information has been saved, you can go ahead and apply this information. And what is happening at the moment is you are cleansing your good data as you go every day, and with the delta incremental load and whatever the loading strategy that you applied for. So once your data set has been cleansed, automatically your rating improves with your data set. Okay, now that your data set is all cleansed, looking good, no anomalies that whatsoever can be found, the business logic of renaming the column, the data type has been converted, all the nulls has been removed from the customer, and that's what you see the number of records over here. So out of 100,000 records that we sourced from the source data set, we only have 95,014 records in the target delta table. So the rest 4,000 records and 4,089 records, where are they? So I'm going to be demonstrating those the records, how they have been stored securely for you, and making sure that the data is not lost. And that's all about it. When you go back and check it out, your data set will go 100% healthy. This is what is your good data set, ready for the data analytics. To go ahead, build your AI remedies use case, build your AI on the spot predictive modeling, and so on and so forth. Or even if you want to share that with your third party applications or subsidiaries, go ahead and dynamically generate the APIs, and you can even write visually structure query languages on top of this data set. This is what I'm talking about. So these all capabilities I'm going to be demonstrating as part of the cognitive analysis in the next upcoming video. To conclude this whole process, we have made this data engineering super simple. And this is a disruptive in the data engineering world, because we have taken a very different angle for the data engineering, with otherwise not been done through AI search. You would require a couple of data engineers, you would required technical expertise to apply all your functions, technical expertise to segregate your bad data, secure data, and good data, and make your data data set analytical ready. So that's where we are helping out the entire industry. And now that this is a good data, you can check it out with your bad data here. I'm going to download this file. So these are the total number of bad data records, and we categorize those total number of records in a different statuses. So if you open this bad data file, it's just a sample data set, and you can see. And this bad data will be basically on the as a source system naming conventions, and it is kind of as is data set. You see that we have done a couple of actions as part of Dojo pop-up. One is we have went with null management, because we found a lot of issues with null management within this data set. So we went with recommendation. So the option of recommendation custom is, if you go with the recommendation, you find those number of records as is records, the bad data information, in your the bad data table, and the good data will also have those records with the replaced value with whatever, whether you went for recommendation or custom values with your own values to be it. But when it comes to reject, you don't find those reject records in the good delta table. That's the reason the row count and history count actually showed you not 100,000 records, they were a couple of rejects. The number of rejects were 4,000 and so on and so forth. And those records are sitting here as is in the bad data table. Okay, and you will see that the rejects were all customers. So that's been said about bad data. Secure table. Secure table is where all your whatever the good data You have exactly the same number of records will be there in the secure table, tokenized, because you have tokenized the payment method. So that is what the secure table will look like. So let me open that. You see that the payment method, basically what you had has been actual value has been stored, mapped with the tokenized value, and what you see on the good delta table is the tokenized value. And you can share this secure table with someone who is going to get your payment integrations integrated with the payment gateways and so on and so forth. Yeah, so this is all about what the AI search can bring to your table. The powerful disruptive data engineering use case that you can deal with the AI search. I've demonstrated the entire capability of data engineering with no single line of code to be written, yet powerfully you are able to build your entire data lineage pipeline, orchestrate, build your ready to analytics data sets, which is 100% healthy, and without even losing a single record. All the rejected records will be there in your bad data table and the secure table for your sensitive data. So I'm thanking everyone for being continuously checking out the videos and supporting AI search and its innovative approach. If you feel like having to see this all in live with your data sets, do not hesitate to get back to us, and we are ready to demonstrate this capability. Thank you very much.